You already know more than you think. You just don't know how to read the signs yet. Every person leaves clues, and the 18 truths of Nietzsche will teach you how to find them and what their hidden meaning is. This is the skill no one teaches you, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. But this video isn't a quick list. It's a complete, step-by-step breakdown divided into 3 powerful parts, each building on the last. If you skip ahead or miss one, you'll lose the depth that makes this truly work. So stay with me. Because by the end of all 3 parts, you won't just understand others. You'll understand yourself in ways you never expected. Part 1: Why we wear masks and how they crack. From a young age, you're trained to trust what people say. Words are our currency. But Nietzsche warned us not to be fooled by language, because people don't speak from truth. They speak to survive, from ego, from fear. The surface of someone's personality is not them. It's their armor. The person who seems overly kind may just be terrified of rejection. The one who looks unshakable may be crumbling underneath, just hoping no one notices. And what's most deceptive about humans is they don't even know they're doing it. Most people are actors in a play they didn't write. Their smiles, their opinions, their tone, all shaped by what kept them safe. This is why they aren't hiding from you. They are hiding from themselves. Nietzsche once said, "Every profound spirit needs a mask." This is not an insult. It's a warning: do not confuse the mask with the person. 6 truths, where people leak the truth, clues you ignored. Here's what no one tells you: people leak the truth all the time. Not in their words, but in the cracks. In the moments they look away. In the way they laugh too long. In how quickly they change the subject when it gets too close. And here is Nietzsche's first psychological truth. 1. Everyone wears a mask to survive. Not because they're fake, but because they're scared. To be accepted, we create a version of ourselves. But masks aren't perfect. And the first sign of truth is tension. Watch for what makes someone uncomfortable. That's where the real person begins. 2. What someone hates in others reveals what they're hiding in themselves. This is called projection. The one who constantly mocks arrogance is often insecure about their own self-worth. The one who can't stop pointing out dishonesty is usually hiding a truth. We hate in others what we are afraid to admit in ourselves. Want to read someone? Don't just look at what they admire. Look at what they criticize and why. 3. Silence reveals more than words. Nietzsche saw language as a tool of the herd, often used to avoid reality. The pause before an answer. The evasion of certain topics. Short, rehearsed replies to deep questions. This silence is louder than any speech. A person avoiding vulnerability reveals everything about what they fear. For excessive virtue is often disguised vanity. Be wary of the person who loudly proclaims their purity, who is always correcting and preaching. Nietzsche called this the will to power in disguise. Morality sometimes becomes a mask for superiority. The louder the virtue signal, the more likely there's something hidden behind it. Real goodness doesn't need applause. 5. People don't lie to you first, they lie to themselves. This changes everything. The lies you hear, "I'm fine, I'm over it, I don't care," are not lies to hurt you. They are lies they've rehearsed so often that they believe them. Self-deception is not evil, it's a defense. If someone's story doesn't quite add up, realize they've been deceiving themselves far longer. The inconsistencies reveal the truth. 6. Where someone feels superior, they are hiding inferiority. This is pure Nietzsche. Superiority is often overcompensation. If someone constantly reminds you of their accomplishments, they fear they are not enough. Real confidence doesn't compete. It simply is. If someone needs to dominate or prove, look deeper. Behind the throne, you often find a scared child wearing a crown. Interlude: reading people is not about judgment. Reading people is not about judging them. It's about understanding their core. The one who constantly interrupts may be afraid of being forgotten. The one who obsessively posts about happiness may be crying for help. Use these truths not to gain power, but to extend compassion. The more clearly you see someone, the less likely you are to hate them. Nietzsche wanted you to stop being fooled and start truly connecting. Part 2, Where Fear Comes From and How It Controls Us. It's one thing to notice the mask. It's another thing entirely to watch it crack. A flash of discomfort when beliefs are challenged. The shift in tone when the subject gets too personal. The nervous laugh that doesn't match the words. These moments are not mistakes. They are clues. People aren't hard to read. They're just scared to be seen. In Part 1, we explored how people build masks. Here, in Part 2, we dive into where those masks break. Nietzsche believed the self is not a stable thing. It's a performance, a stitched-together role for survival. And when it is threatened, the truth leaks out. Truth 7, Fear is the main driver. Most actions are driven by unconscious fear. Ask yourself, why does someone over-explain? Why do they dominate a conversation or disappear completely? Why do they say yes when they clearly mean no? Fear. Fear of abandonment, rejection, humiliation. Humans rarely act from pure desire. They act from a deep fear of losing status, love, or self-worth. Want to read someone? Ask, what are they afraid of losing? That's where the truth lives. Excessive criticism is a mirror, projection. The man who mocks emotional people might be terrified of his own feelings. The woman who belittles others for their appearance might be locked in a secret war with her reflection. Judgment is almost never about the other. It's about the self. Repeated criticism is a confession. It tells you exactly where someone's pain lives. Guilt hides behind false confidence. You've met this person, they are overly sure of themselves, always composed. But watch longer, the tension in their jaw, the over-preparation, the defensiveness under pressure. Nietzsche observed that people perform certainty because they are scared of being seen. Behind chronic confidence, look for the guilt they are trying to bury. Real peace does not perform. Exaggeration reveals the hidden truth. This one is subtle but powerful. Someone who constantly says, "I don't care what anyone thinks," likely cares deeply. Someone who claims, "I am always happy," likely is not. Exaggeration is a tell. It's the ego trying to drown out doubt. If someone's statements sound too absolute, read the insecurity underneath. The desire for control masks inner chaos. We seek control everywhere, but some crave it to the point of obsession. Those who seek control often fear inner chaos. If the inner world is disordered, the outer world must be managed obsessively. Someone who micromanages, cannot handle change, or dominates people, does so not because they are strong, but because something inside feels out of control. The stricter the outer shell, the more fragile the inner self. The louder the performance, the emptier the core. Look at social media. The endless look-at-me energy. Nietzsche saw this as desperation. If someone is constantly performing, it's because they don't believe they'll be seen or loved without it. The person who truly knows themselves doesn't need to be watched. They are already whole. Conclusion of Part 2, you are reading the mask. Now you feel it. You walk into a room, and the patterns speak louder than words. You see the boaster and sense his invisible wound. You are not reading minds. You are reading the mask. This is not just a skill. It's a responsibility. Because once you learn to see people clearly, you will see that most are suffering quietly behind polished smiles. Reading is not about gaining leverage. It is about offering grace. When you see the child behind the critic, the fear behind the bully, the guilt behind the arrogance, you don't become weaker, you become unshakable. Part 3, Wounds, Scripts, and Reading the Soul. Something in you has shifted. You don't just see people, you read them. Not as villains, but as humans trying to survive in masks they didn't even choose. But we're not done yet. Behind every behavior is a belief, and behind every belief is a wound. This final part will teach you to recognize the soul, the deep story hidden beneath the surface. No one speaks from logic. They speak from pain. You might think people are rational and argue based on facts. Nietzsche believed otherwise. Underneath every logical argument is an emotional wound. A person might say, "I don't believe in love, it's just a fantasy." But listen closely. They are not stating a fact. They are protecting a pain. People form their views based on what hurt them, then justify it with logic. Want to understand someone's worldview? Ask, what broke them? What are they afraid of repeating? Their opinions are not threats. They are shields. How someone reacts to weakness reveals their power. Want to truly see character? Don't watch how they treat the powerful. Watch how they treat someone who can't fight back. True strength is revealed through restraint. The person who can witness weakness without judgment, who can forgive what they could have punished, that is someone who has won the inner war. When someone fears being forgotten, they chase attention. The one who always needs to be seen, whose life screams, "Notice me." Nietzsche saw this as a fear of being invisible, of being erased. The child who was ignored becomes the adult who overcompensates. Attention is not always vanity, it's a cry. The person they attack is often the person they envy. One of Nietzsche's boldest truths. People attack not only because they hate. They often attack because they admire, but feel they can never be. Criticism is easier than admiration. The one who tears down the successful is often in pain. Envy is just unspoken desire. People act out their childhood, not their beliefs. Nietzsche would say, people repeat. They repeat the roles, the fears, the dynamics they never escaped. The person who was never heard becomes someone who never listens. The person who had to earn love becomes someone who performs for affection. Behavior is just biography. Their patterns are a confession, if you know how to listen. This is the final truth. People don't always know how to express their hurt, but they will show you again and again through patterns. The person who ghosts when things get close. The one who overworks to avoid stillness. These are not random behaviors. They are confessions. This is how I protect myself. This is where I was hurt. This is what I fear repeating. Final thoughts, a mirror, not a weapon. When you learn to listen to patterns, not words, you hear the truth before it is spoken. And then you stop personalizing. You stop judging. You start understanding. You become a mirror, not a weapon. You become someone who sees and still chooses grace. And that makes you truly powerful. You're not just reading people. You're remembering yourself. Every truth we covered was about you, your own patterns, your own fears, your own childhood scripts. The more clearly you see others, the more clearly you see yourself.